everyone, and welcome to the program video for Youth and Government Media. My name is Katie Clark, and I'm one of your co-editors-in-chief of Media Branch this year.
Hey guys, it's Emmy, one of your editors-in-chief of Media. I'm so excited to talk to y'all about how this conference is going to look and how media will be a little bit different, but it's still going to be great. Your editors have been working so hard for these past few months to get everything ready for y'all, and I'm so excited that we're finally where we are and we can start planning for conference. So to get us started, let me introduce who your media officers will be, and we'll all talk together soon, but I just wanted y'all to learn their names before we all have our first meeting. So, your editors-in-chief of media are me, Emmy, and Katie, who you just heard from. And then your social media editor is Bailey. Your photography editor is Elena. Your broadcast editors are Cooper and Margaret. And your print editor is Alex. In your specific branches, you will go to your editor of that branch first. That's who you're going to be talking to most. And then me and Katie will kind of oversee everything. And if you need any help, just ask. And then our beloved media helpers, or media kings as we call them, are Max and Greg, and I'm sure if you haven't heard from them already, you will soon.
And in this video, we're just going to go over how the media branch works, and especially what it's going to look like in the virtual conference, including all of the things that we use to function on, including Microsoft Teams and our planning grid.
Alright guys, the application is live for media. I hope most of you have already filled out the application, but it's fine if you haven't. The link right there on the left side of the screen will take you to the application, and it'll take you actually to that picture you see on the right side of the screen. That's what the page will look like. We just recently had a website glow up, but you can see you have the different branches of media: broadcast, photo, print, and social. And you can go in there and click the link, and it'll take you to the application, and you can apply for the branch that you feel like best fits you. All of your editors are very excited to see what you have to say.
So what media is usually like during conference is 4 separate branches that all run pretty independently. We have photography, social media, print, and broadcast, and so each of those has 1 to 2 editors and projects that they work on. So for example, broadcast, which is what I was last year, has daily broadcasts that they might create, or B-roll videos of conferences, and print would write stories about delegates and bills. Photography would make slideshows that are shown at joint sessions, and social media would make regular posts throughout conference. When we're in person, we'll spend each day making multiple projects or working on one longer one, and you'll be working with everyone else on the media team. It's always super fun and a really great bonding experience with other delegates.
So Katie just explained to you what media usually looks like, and if you're a new media delegate, then you might be at an advantage because we're all in this boat together. We're all kind of new delegates. We've never done this before. So let's get into it. This year, media delegates must attend both weekends of conference. So there's going to be 2 weekends, one based for legislative and one for judicial. We have to go to both because we're going to cover stories for both branches. That kind of makes sense. But don't worry. The price is only the price of one weekend, $89. It's not the price of 2 weekends, $133. I've gotten some questions about this, and I just wanted to clarify that you do not have to pay for both conferences, but you do have to go to both conferences. Media will be project-based rather than branch-specific. So you might wonder kind of what that means. So basically, as Katie explained, media is usually divided into those 4 branches: print, social, broadcast, and photo. It's still going to start off in those branches. You still applied for those 4 branches. However, when we start conference and as we're planning for it, we're not going to be really divided as, separately as usual. Just think like photo. You're not going to have to sit at home and take pictures of Zoom. That would be so boring. We're all going to be working on projects together. For example, photo could be working on graphics or using old photos from other conferences to make awesome social posts or working with print to find cool photos for their articles. But yeah, don't stress too much about your specific branch because you can definitely move around. It's way more fluid this year, which I think is super fun. Here are some sneak peeks of new projects that we might do this year. The podcast, the YAG podcast. If you can think of a cool name for this, please tell me. Please tell us. Text me because we are on fire for this idea. I'm very excited. I love podcasts. And then also the YAG Mag. If that's not the best name you've ever heard, then I don't know what is. Basically, I found this idea from other youth and government delegations across the country. Specifically, I think New Jersey's YAG, they do this idea, and I thought it was ingenious. So on their socials, they make these graphics. They look so cute, and they combine social, photo, and print to make these kind of Instagram, like, infographics about what's happening at conference, and they call it the YAG Mag. So anyone can work on these projects no matter what branch you're in, and we'll talk about this later. And these aren't the only projects. We have a lot of new ideas, and I'm sure y'all have new ideas, so please tell us, and we'll talk about this in later meetings. But yeah, so let's talk about Microsoft Teams. If you've never used Microsoft Teams, that's totally fine. It's super easy to use. I had never even heard of it until I joined media, and I learned pretty quickly. But if you have heard of Microsoft Teams or use it for school, then you already know what I'm about to explain. But basically, we use Microsoft Teams for video calls specifically, and we also use the chat and especially specific branch channels. That is a great feature of Microsoft Teams because it allows us to have like separate like group chats and files for print or broadcast. And the files specifically, that portion of Microsoft Teams is great for media because that's where we can upload like the planning grid, which Katie is about to talk about in the next slide.
The planning grid is one of the main ways we keep track of ideas and projects so we know what people are working on and what we need to start working on. And it's something that you'll be able to access through Teams. But basically, it looks like a spreadsheet where it has the type of media that we're creating, the idea for the media, who's doing it, deadlines, and all of those things. And this year especially, it's going to be really important because we're generally project-based instead of being so concentrated in different branches. So that is all we have for this video, and I hope that it gave you a little more insight into what media looked like in the past and will look like this year, and hopefully got you excited for this upcoming conference. If you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out to either one of us. Our numbers are right there. Thank you so much, and hopefully we will see you in February.